What's going on, everybody? Jordan Sherwood for some UFC 249 React, and then starting to preview the events for Wednesday and Saturday for the UFC. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle Wood1063 and FatJackSports.com for my fight picks. Not as well as we had hoped on the night, 1-4, but still definitely plus money since November of last year on 9-5 overall since that time. UFC 249, it happened. It went off seemingly without a hitch. We won't get too much into the Jacare Souza positive COVID-19 test. A lot of people are coming out suggesting the UFC should have been able to identify Jacare had tested positive prior to arriving in Jacksonville, or he should have disclosed said positive test in association with a family member that had tested positive. But nonetheless, every other fighter is okay, and we're moving forward, hopefully, to some successful Wednesday and Saturday events. But looking at UFC 249, how could you not talk about Justin Gaethje? I mean, he was the biggest winner on the card. He's the new UFC interim lightweight champion holder. Surprised me. I didn't think that he would have adjusted his game 23 fights into his professional mixed martial arts career. The guy was always living by the sword, dying by the sword. And in his two losses, Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez, he died by the sword because he went after it. But he was patient against Tony Ferguson. He hit Tony when Tony allowed him to hit, and he dictated where the fight went. And credit where credit's due. He's going to be an unbelievable matchup for Khabib Nurmagomedov if he seemingly changed up his game plan, which he has. Hits like a truck. He's going to rely on that All-American wrestling, and that'll be very interesting because if you look at Nurmagomedov's mixed martial arts UFC career, he has not fought anybody with the wrestling credentials of Justin Gaethje. So it's really too bad. We are never likely to get the fight between Tony Ferguson and Nurmagomedov. That fight was cursed from day one, but nonetheless, we get a nice replacement in Justin Gaethje over Tony Ferguson. Henry Cejudo retains controversially, but I think if you look back at the replays, Dominic Cruz was out for at least one moment when he took that flying knee and subsequent strikes. Henry Cejudo, the streak that he has now put together, impressive, likely like Hall of Fame worthy. I mean, with the victory over Demetrius Johnson and Dillashaw and Marlon Moraes and now Dominic Cruz, he's going to retire and maybe retire into the UFC Hall of Fame. But I think most insiders say it has to do with a paycheck, and that if Dana White ponies up the right amount of money, we're going to see Henry Cejudo back inside the UFC octagon. I am shocked by Rozenstruik's strategy against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou continues to be a killer. There's no denying that he is the rightful number one contender. Should be fighting for a championship or at least an interim title against Daniel Cormier if Stipe Miocic's not going to be ready towards the winter. But Rozenstruik, what are you doing? I mean, hands not up, chin way up, and going into a firefight. I thought at least Rozenstruik was going to kickbox, fight at distance, and utilize his superior striking skills. And I still believe he does have superior striking skills, but it's a lesson that I learned the hard way. It's releasing him as a bet. It's a lesson that Rozenstruik is going to learn the hard way. And Francis Ngannou, he is a killer and looked impressive once again with a 20-second knockout over Rozenstruik in the other featured fight of the card. So we've got fights Wednesday night. Very intriguing matchup between Glover Teixeira, Anthony Smith. Several other fights on the card that are very interesting, and we'll have fight picks for you. I'm looking at 2 for sure, plays, possibly some more. FatJackSports.com, Wood on 1063 if you want information. Hope you enjoyed the UFC 249 sidecast. If you tuned in with myself, Dean Thomas, Josh Cohen, Junior Dos Santos joined us. We might have some of those for you planned for you in the future. But until then, enjoy the fights.